right, guys, welcome back to our Work Friends review show. And I'm here with my friend Chris. And today we're going to discuss the United States versus Billie Holiday that came out on Hulu. So, Chris, tell me, what were your overall thoughts on the movie?
Hey everybody. I just want to say this movie was entirely way too long. I didn't get it. I felt like they jumped all over the place. And Lee Daniels, shame on you. Shame on you and how dare you? Because this movie was terrible. I was so glad it was over. 2 hours and 10 minutes too long. 2 hours and 10 minutes. That's how I felt. Oh, and I sat through, but um, it was good for maybe about the first 30 minutes, and then after that, I was just ready to turn it off. It was just long for no reason and just so unorganized. That's how I feel. Shame on.
So I will say that I kind of agree with you. I do. I didn't completely hate the movie. I didn't. I enjoyed it. I did feel like it was too long. A couple of the songs definitely got a fast forward.
See, you fast forward. I was like, I told Shasta I'm gonna watch this movie, and I watched it all the way through. I didn't fast forward. Oh, if I would have known you was gonna fast, girl, that would have saved me at least an hour. Cause I don't think my finger would have been able to stop.
I watched it last night and I definitely started fast for like not at the beginning. Not I would say after like the first hour. That's when I was like, oh, she's singing again. Fast forward. It's almost like watching a Tyler Perry play. Some of the songs you like,
Yeah.
and then some of the songs you be like, I'm just gonna press fast forward. Um,
Absolutely, because that's it. That show is the feeling I had after it was over with. I was just like, yeah, I will never watch this again.
and it wasn't Lady Sings the Blues was about Billie Holiday's first life, whole life, right? So you got to see who she was from a child through her death. And it felt more complete, a more complete story. This movie was about a very specific time in her life. And was it just me, or did they not do a good job of introducing characters?
No, not at all. It was just so random. And then like I don't know the scene with the dog funeral. I don't know. They didn't really. Yeah, you're right. They didn't explain it at all. They just tossed people in 1 minute. I guess the promoter dude, the light skinned dude she was having sex with, the second guy. I don't know what's his name, but the one who pushed her up against the mirror. You know who I'm talking about? Cause
Yeah.
I feel like he was just thrown in there all of a sudden.
I felt like we didn't even know his name until
Right? Cause you see I'm
he
having to say the one
had
that threw up
several
against the
scenes.
mirror.
Like, I was like, so who is this? It wasn't one of her husbands because I was Googling. I was like, well, she was married 3 times. He wasn't one of them. So who is this random man?
Shit.
And I just, I don't even know if that part was true or if it was just fiction thrown in there, but it had to be true because he was in one of the court cases with her. And I just didn't, they did not do a good job of introducing us to each person. Like, say, for instance, um, the guy from Everybody Hates Chris, who played Chris Rock.
Uh-huh.
What was his name in the movie? Who was he in the movie?
Maybe was he Perez? Cause I was guessing he was Perez at the end. Cause she said she just left him, so that's who I assumed he was, or I just assumed that was Miss Lauren's character, but I don't know.
It
And
couldn't have
so
been
I
Miss
didn't want to
Lauren's
look it up.
character because Miss Lauren's character was around when she was doing the interviews and stuff at the end as an older man.
Oh, okay, yeah, you.
So I
Uh,
was like, "Is that's not?" I didn't know who was who, and it was annoying. I just really wish they would have done a better job of introducing characters. Her friend throughout the movie with the one eye, I don't even know if I called her name.
Yeah, I just didn't she always have blonde hair?
Um,
Or am I tripping? But I do
I
know
don't
she
think
was always
so.
by her side, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But they never I just
I don't know her name
and
either.
maybe I was just a little
All I know is Jimmy.
bored. Yeah, maybe I was just a little bored to the point where I wasn't paying attention enough to catch everyone's names. But I just feel like they didn't do a good job of introducing each character. Now I will say I felt like everybody was acting their behind off. I felt like everybody was doing some good acting. I
Yeah,
just wish.
congratulations to Andrea Day for winning what, a Golden Globe?
Yeah, Golden Globe. She's only the second African American woman to win for a drama. The other one was Whoopi Goldberg for The Color Purple.
I'm sorry it was for this movie because it was terrible.
But
And I
she
honestly
was
couldn't
good in
focus
it
on the
though.
acting because I was trying to figure out the story.
She was really good in it though. I can tell you, I was like, oh, she can act. Like she was phenomenal. I loved her singing in it. I felt like she was excellent in the movie. I just wish the storyline was just a little bit better. Um, so the other thing is you mentioned it jumping all over the place,
Mhm.
right? So it started with her already being Billie Holiday.
Mhm.
So we didn't get any type of origin story or
No
anything
build
like
up, nothing.
no
Cause I'll
build
be
up.
honest, I don't remember Lady Sings the Blues at all. I only saw it once, a long time ago. And I know you just said that was your favorite movie and you're gonna get me, but yeah, I don't remember at all. So to me, it was just coming in just, oh no.
It's so good, but seeing her become Billie Holiday, it explains so much of her drug use, right? When you see this movie, right? She's already an addict and you don't really know why. And then you have the one scene where Miss Lawrence character is
Mhm.
talking to the FBI agent, and he tells the FBI agent she was raped as a child. She was, a prostitute and all these things, but we never got to see it.
Mhm.
So you never, like, for somebody who doesn't know Billie Holiday, who never seen Lady sings the blues, she just looked like a celebrity that like doing drugs.
Yeah.
You don't know the background. And
Yeah, because it was just getting so frustrating whenever, she was self-sabotaging herself because it was just like you said, I didn't have all the background, and it's just they made it so hard for me to want to care or be empathetic as far as just be involved in the story because it was just so confusing and just all over. It was just so hard to follow that it was just you couldn't have time to build any emotion towards the characters. Well, for me, it was
no
that's
sympathy for
yeah,
her
yeah,
because
because
you
it was just
didn't know
like
why.
yeah, because it was just like yeah, that's bad happened to you, and then it was just like okay, they show her with some drugs, okay, and then they show her in jail, and then they was like they show her this, and then it's just like okay, she's happy, and all of a sudden she just calls this dude out of the blue.
Yeah, like, okay, so she gets out of prison, she's clean. She has this concert at Carnegie Hall. And after the concerts, she admit that she did a good job because she was high. Well, what made you want to get high? Like it was just kind of missing the depth.
Yeah.
And I feel like we got that with Lady Sings the Blues. Like we had a good understanding of what she was going through. We saw her, even though it was difficult to watch, we saw, the man attack her at a very young age. We saw, the fact that she couldn't go stay with her mom, and then her mom told her to go stay with this church friend, and it turns out the church friend was a madam. So she ends up, prostituting until she starts singing. And you just get this origin story. You saw how she was on the road and lonely, and she was a black woman surrounded by a all white band, and she started using drugs to cope with the fact that she couldn't eat with them, and she couldn't stay where they were staying, and they even saw a lynching once. And so you just miss that the reason why she was doing the drugs. And then I know that this is part of the story, but FBI agent Fletcher, I hate you. Like, you raggedy brother. He was
Really?
not
Please use
likable.
your anger more.
Like, so you're a coon and a sellout. And he didn't even really, did he give a reason why he was a coon and a sellout? Outside of the fact that he just wanted a good career?
I actually felt I don't feel that he's as bad as her as the men who well, the ones who planted the cocaine on her. You know, who set her up. I feel like they're worse because they took advantage of her. At least he tried to right his wrongs. But those men, they didn't. Like the first one sent her to jail by, having her plead guilty or whatever. And then, come, everybody in with the old okie doke but her. And then the second time, the dude pretty much had it in her hand or whatever when they bust through the door. So that's another time he got, I don't, we don't know what happened to him, but he has another guy that took advantage of her. And then the last dude, telling her to sign some papers or whatever when she's on her damn deathbed or whatever, another guy. Oh, and before that, he used to beat her too, right? So it's just like
Hmm.
those men didn't, try to be at least Jimmy wasn't good. I feel like he was at least good to her. Yeah, at first, he did sabotage her, but at least I feel like he tried to make it right, and he was good with to her in the end.
I mean, but she did 6 months in prison because of him.
Not
So
just because of him,
it wasn't just because of him, but like basically he infiltrated her group and told what he saw,
but
and
if it
that
wouldn't have
got
been him, it would have been Evan Ross's character. It could have been anybody to do that.
it could have. I think that they definitely were being used by the FBI, but I don't know. There's a part of me that just has an extra amount of disdain for people that betray their own.
Mhm.
Like,
But you could say
don't
those men also betrayed her because she's their own too, and they took advantage of her and betrayed her too, and conspired with the white man too. So it's just like
You're right. Everybody was looking out for themselves, and at least
she only had the
he
one-eyed friend.
at least Fletcher did redeem himself.
Mhm.
Like, at least he did come back and took care of her and let her know what the FBI was doing.
Right, and
But
he
also, did he
put it to
really
the end.
do? Did she didn't do herself any favors?
No, girl.
And because even when he was telling her they watching you, she couldn't stop. But I guess that's the downside of being an addict, right?
Right. Because it's like, I don't know, maybe it would have been, I don't know, for me, it would have been maybe interesting just to see, like, when she just, that first time starting that habit, like, what was that first? I don't know. Maybe that would have helped just maybe connect it more. Because, yeah, just to already see she's already hooked in. And then, just such a wild story. I don't know. Maybe it would have been more enjoyable if they would have showed us, a little bit more of how it all started.
So,
More
how
of the
did you
origin story.
feel about just going back to all the men and the woman? Can't forget about Tallulah Bankhead.
Mm. That's
That she
the redhead.
the redhead
Mhm.
white woman that she was having a relationship with as well. Um, how did you feel about all the different love interests? Like, I think that's part of her not doing herself any favors. Is she had really bad taste in men.
Yeah. That's why I
Even
said Jimmy
even
was the really kind of the best one, honestly. And that sounded a lot since he did, do such a huge betrayal in the beginning.
yeah,
So
she could have forgave him and not slept with him.
yeah,
Like
but
she didn't have to let him back into her life in that way.
right, but it's just like she just kept wanting to self sabotage.
And that's probably part of being a addict as well. Is the self sabotage. I just don't understand. I don't know. If the first husband disappeared, like where did he go? Why did she divorce him? Did she divorce him because she went to prison?
Yeah, because remember, um, the lawyer she had paid that lawyer all that money, I guess to get just sent to the mental institution, and I guess the husband had told her the lawyer and the judge had already worked it out with the prosecutors, I guess. And so I guess that's why they divorced. Because it didn't really seem like, he was already putting her interests at heart. Hell, he didn't want her to sing the song to begin with anyway. Remember, he kept taking it off the thing. And she said that they were friends, right? With um the FBI agent, the white guy.
Yeah, it
Okay.
does seem like everybody around her was
Yeah.
strictly focused on trying to get to the money. At
Right.
least, despite the fact that he, betrayed her, he did redeem himself, and he's probably the most likable character in the movie.
Besides Miss Lawrence character.
I don't like enablers.
What maybe I missed the part where she was an enabler because all I saw was just wait, which one's the I'm thinking of the eye patch lady. Never mind. The eye patch lady. She stuck by her side, yeah. She ain't
That
been
was
in
she
fight.
probably was the one of the best characters that actually had her back, because I think they showed in the movie that everybody else was pretty much an addict too. So
Yeah.
Lauren's character was doing drugs with her. Um
Oh, okay.
the other guy, the saxophone player, was doing drugs with her. They made Fletcher do drugs.
Yeah.
So everybody around is like, don't nobody want to help her get some help?
Right, that's the worst part. It was just like everybody, all those men just betrayed her, and then it was just like the government just kept coming after her, kept coming after, and all she wanted to do was just sing and just, you know, protest against lynchings or whatever, and they just kept trying to come after her. It was ridiculous
And the reasoning didn't make any sense to me.
at
Like,
all.
no sense to me whatsoever. So, you don't want her singing this song because you feel like it incites people in a negative way. No, it doesn't. Like, I feel like people want to do everything about race around racism but deal with racism, right? It's kind of like nowadays when you change the name on the syrup, like Aunt Jemima is racist and we got to change the name on the syrup. That's not doing that then. Nobody asked you to do that.
Right? I mean,
Like,
Pearl Milk Company, I feel like it always makes the syrup taste different. I don't
the
want
the song does not incite people. The song does not incite people. What incites people is lynchings. Do
Right.
something about the lynchings, and then the song just becomes a song. Her life was so fascinating. Honestly, that could have had a little less music and a little more story.
Y you know,
And
I don't even remember most of the music because I was just trying to figure out the story.
Well, I enjoy several songs that she has. I got annoyed after like an hour and I got to fast forward and
You know what I
all of
did
that good stuff.
appreciate?
What?
Them sex scenes. That's
Oh
the
my
best
god.
part. I was waiting for you to ask me what was the best part. Them sex scenes. That was the best part. Okay.
So your favorite scene in the movie were all the sex
It's
scenes.
all the sex scenes. I'm a pervert. All the sex scenes. Yep. Goodness. That's the only thing that made that movie enjoyable was the sex scenes. The multiple sex scenes.
I will say my favorite was with FBI agent Fletcher. Cause whew, that man is fine. Okay?
Yeah, I
He is
agree.
fine. It was everything. And it honestly it was the best sex scenes in the movie.
Yeah, I agree.
I was like, oh my god, they look good together. I was like, get it, Billy.
R- Man, I'm telling you.
So I think that my favorite scenes in the movie were probably I would say I don't even know, girl. Do I have a favorite scene in this movie?
None.
She looked stunning. I mean, the real Billie Holiday was is gorgeous. Andrea Day is gorgeous,
Mhm.
and the dresses that they had her wearing looked phenomenal.
Yeah,
Um,
they dressed her up nice because yeah, something need to be saved from the movie. Something need to be saved.
so
She saved it.
I think that part. Um, I think it's cute that Diana Ross's son Evan was in this movie because his mom played Billie Holiday.
Mm,
So I think it was a cute little shout out um that he was in this movie. I like that he came around too. Like I'm glad that they weren't sellouts the whole movie. Um but I don't know, girl. I think I'm gonna have to go with you and say the best part of this movie was the sex scenes. And not even the love story because like
mm-mm,
one of the things that I love about Lady Sings the Blues is it's a love story. Like I wanted to be with Louis McKay. I wanted to be with Billy D. Williams. And I know that that movie is it's based on, her life, but they did take several liberties because in real life, Louis McKay was more accurate to this movie. He
mm,
was like known to be abusive and not treat her well and take her money and things like that,
mhm,
allegedly. and in Lady Sings the Blues, they had Billy D. Williams playing him and they completely romanticized him.
mhm,
They made it seem like he was just the most romantic, the most loving person in the world, took her to rehab, you know, always checked on her, made sure she was, you know what I mean? They made it seem like he was the greatest man in the world in Lady Sings the Blues. So I think this movie was more accurate with that part of the story about the Louis McKay part. But I will say, um, it just wasn't none of these dudes except for Fletcher, and he was mad flawed. Like it wasn't a love story, no real love story in it. Like, ugh, she could
but
have did
that
without
seems to
all
be
of
a
these dudes.
pattern with all of these famous black singers. None of these men are right. Like, can
Oh,
you give me
that's
one
so.
singer whose husband was decent, who didn't do it wrong? At least, like, not even it ain't even gotta be like the first or second husband. Like, third husband, did he turn all right? In one example of one husband that did one of these singers right?
God, I'm trying to think. Not Ike.
Hell
You
no.
already mentioned him. Um, who else have we seen a biopic of? Oh,
Can't
remember
say
when Joe?
Virginia.
Remember when Joe Jackson cheated on the mama?
Catherine.
Oh Lord, it was so sad. He told her he wanted that ice cream, and then she found him talking to another woman. Ugh, it was so sad, Joe. Why you do that to Catherine?
Trash. See,
Um,
none of them.
I'm trying to think of like all the musicals I've seen. The
Right?
I these I don't
Mm-mm.
know. That's sad. That's sad.
Right.
But we've all seen R&B divas. And I know the biggest mistake you can make as a female R&B singer is let your man be your manager.
Right. Oh, Mary J. Blige. I'm still mad at that. Like, I'm still mad. Like, how he end up with so much money? Like, for real? What kind of lawyer did she have? Can you like? Cause he got paid.
He got paid. But you know, your man should never be your manager. Beyonce, even when she left her daddy, she didn't hire Jay-Z as her manager. She said, I can manage myself.
Mm.
Okay? You never let your man be your manager. It's too much. It's too much. You can't do both. You be trying to bring work anger into house anger, home anger. No. So I guess, she lived the life as most successful black female singers of that time, even with a little like lesbian action, because it seems like whether it was Ma Rainey or whether it was um
Etta James.
Etta James, whether it was what was the one that Queen Latifah
Josephine
played?
Baker.
Bessie
Oh,
Smith, Josephine Baker. They all were lesbians. Well, not lesbians, but at least at some point bisexual, because they all had relationships with women. So that seems to be what was the tea back then.
I don't know. They might be. They might have been on to something. Hell, was the lesbian stealing their money too? Cause at least, hell, at least get something out of it.
No, they all had good lesbians. I know in Betsy,
Oh,
the
okay.
movie
Yeah,
with
then
Queen
that's a different
Latifah,
story.
her
Why did they stay with
relationship,
the lesbians then? Dang it. And
because
then they could
I
have
don't
been
think you
had their money too. Like goodness.
I don't think you could. Just in those days, it just wasn't acceptable. It's almost not still not acceptable now, to
Yeah.
just admit what you really like, who you really are.
It's just
So
sad that, they had to go through so much just to get to the top. Like just so much struggle and just so much heartache.
yeah, I agree. So let's go. We didn't go scene by scene with this movie because it was just
You can't go scene by scene because they couldn't go scene by scene. They just tossed the scenes up in the air, and that's just how it landed. Was how they filmed it. I need to stop, but oh yeah.
so let's go ahead and do our who was the movie villain and who was the actual villain.
The actual villain was the United States government.
Yeah, and actually, I think they were well. Did they try to make the black man the villain?
Yeah, cause like once she beat that second case or whatever, and when he was on the stand, and he was like, I just, I saw it in her hand or whatever. I think they demoted him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, they used him or whatever, and eventually, luckily, I guess you could say he didn't have a family or whatever, so it was easier for him to be able to walk away than like I guess Evan Ross cared because he said, "Hey man, I got a family," but but I don't know. I'll say the U.S. government.
I would say that they tried to make Billie Holiday the villain in this movie. She
Yeah,
didn't come out looking good. She came out looking like a junkie, because you didn't get the origin story, right? So she came out looking like a junkie, and a selfish
Can't get
person
right.
who
Can't
can
do
get
right.
right, who makes bad choices,
Mm.
and who was not there for her friends.
You right. I was like, y'all, you about to leave them stranded again. And then I felt so bad when when he wouldn't invite the other girls, when he was like, it's the table of two. And then she gonna make her take her dog back to the room. Like, girl, that's your homegirl who been down with you from the jump. And really, for some dude who she's trying to warn you about, who she said is already has a bad reputation, and you just eating it up. You just can't wait. Can't wait to get hit on.
So does that make Billie Holiday partly the actual villain?
No, because from what you told me about her story, no.
No.
No,
But in the
there was
movie,
nobody to help
they
her.
low key tried to make her the actual villain.
Right. There was
But
nobody to help her. Everywhere she like nobody.
really the real villain is the United States government. They're trash. The FBI is trash. They killed Malcolm X.
Mhm.
Allegedly, not allegedly, but a little
Right.
allegedly. They, according to reports, had a very big hand in killing Malcolm X, Martin
Right,
Luther King,
allegedly, but
and
it's looking real allegedly. Yeah.
it seems like they had a hand in killing a lot of civil rights activists, and
Mm,
that goes along with Billie Holiday
mm.
because I mean they had her handcuffed to a bed.
Right, when I saw that, I was like, really? I was really hoping that was just put in there as, theatrics as part of the movie. But once ran across the screen that they did that even while she was laying there dying, oh, that's why I said they the real villains. Like
It makes me
she
feel like
deserved
maybe they didn't try to save her. I mean, she was only 44.
it. Right. Like they didn't. It's just they just kept wanting to beat her down so much, and it's just
Just to make her stop singing a song. It sounds
right.
crazy, but I think
And
J.
the thing
Edgar
is, it's like
Hoover,
we didn't even see her really sing the song as many times. Like I don't even know how many times she sang the song or whatever. Because it just to me, it just looked like it was just a continued just attack, 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 just relentless. And then it was just even if it was just a song, it was like all of this over a song. Just
but it seems like
like
they
how
would
many
attack
years was this?
her.
Like
It
how
seems
many years was this? That's all I kept thinking. Like they're still over this song.
it seems like they were attacking her even when she didn't sing the song.
Right. That's why I was like, how many is she still singing? I did not get it. That's why I was like, I don't know. They
So
just
is it's like it got to the point where it was like, well, is it about the song or is it just you don't like her no more?
right. Like, what is she
Because
doing now? Like, why are
she
y'all still
stopped
using
singing the
resources
song.
tracking her? Yeah, it was just like y'all really have like a whole department dedicated to her actions. And then and hell, she get her what was it, her cabaret card taken away? So at one
Hmm.
point she wasn't even singing no more.
Yeah.
So it was just like,
And that timeline was a little bit weird too, because for to my knowledge in real life, the reason why she sung at Carnegie Hall was because she couldn't sing at any clubs. But in this movie, they had her singing at clubs, then doing Carnegie Hall, and then being able to sing at clubs again behind the scenes. So I don't know. I thought that was a little bit weird too. They didn't really explain it well.
yeah, I
Like
was
they just
wondering, like,
kind
did
of
she get
mentioned,
back?
oh, she's not allowed to sing in clubs no more, but they
Yeah,
didn't show like the process of her losing her license and like all that stuff. So I
yeah.
don't know. I wanted to like it. I wanted to like it, but it was an incomplete story.
It was.
It
It
was. It was an incomplete story, and I would say that at least it didn't come out on theaters. For a Hulu movie, it wasn't bad. It's a nice little watch. So I'm still going to encourage people to watch it. It's very, take it for what it is.
I'm not. Folks, don't watch this. Don't waste y'all 2 hours and 10-minute time. No, if you do, fast forward. When you start feeling sleepy or you just want to get through, just go and fast forward. You will not miss a thing.
No,
You just
I would say if you want to hear some good music, if you want to get a couple of facts about that time period in Billie Holiday's life.
watch Lady Sings the Blues. That's what she said. That's what she really means. Watch Lady Sings the Blues.
I'm gonna say with that is where the note that I will leave everyone on to end this little review is this movie is cute. You know, you can watch it, but if you just really want to know more about Billie Holiday, watch Lady Sings the Blues.
Yeah. But if you want to watch some sex scenes, just watch the sex scenes and then just turn it off.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to our review. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions on what we should review next, feel free to let us know. And we will see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.